So I haven't seen Zack Snyder's Justice League yet, and but I know it's a 4 hour long movie. And between that and the whole MCU and the DCEU and all these different fucking massive undertakings in the attempt to bring comic books to the mainstream, or just any attempt to bring a book to film in general, you're generally restrained by certain things. For instance, time limits. You can't make a movie too long, or people don't really want to watch it. There's been some exceptions, obviously. Like I said, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Blah 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 blah. Quentin Tarantino's Hateful Eight was like what, 3 hours plus, and there's an extended edition. Lord of the Rings have the extended editions, which are over like 9 hours long, and there is a market for those. A lot of people, though, generally they want 1.5, 2 hours, or 20 to 40 minute little segments, and they're good. Um, and I see a general decline in excitement for anything. It's just not the same as it used to be. I actually just saw a thread where people were talking, why don't why doesn't Netflix release, an episode every week instead of dropping everything at once? And, a lot of people are like, well, I don't have time to do that. Well, you have time to sit down and, they want to be, they don't want to take the risk of spoilers. They don't want this or that. Whatever. I'm not here to talk about, the average person's attention span or whether I think it's stupid or not. I'm here to say we need to bring back the miniseries. We need to start planning out. I want to adapt this book, but it will not fit in 2.5 hours. I want to make it a TV series, but the segments aren't written out to where they're in perfect 20 or 40 minute chunks. So what I want to see is, okay, we want to do this and we want to put Hollywood production value in it, but we want to release it as a smaller series. Bring back the miniseries. For instance, the book I want to do is broken up into, I think, 4 to 6 parts. I will actually thumb through it right now, but I won't show you the book because I want to do this one as a miniseries. So part 1, and then what was the last part? I think it was 4. Shit. Here we go. Let's go to the end here. La 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 la. I'm sorry. This is dead air. I know. God, is this part really this long? There we go. So it's 4 parts. Okay, 4 parts. Now, the first part is really short. The last part is obviously really long because it took me a minute to thumb through there. And then the 2 parts in the middle are both different segments. So ultimately, yeah, I'd want to do like the first part maybe in 2 parts, the second part maybe in 3, the third and fourth maybe in 3 each. They wouldn't necessarily have 20 or 40 minute counters on them. One episode might be an hour and a half. One might be 2 hours long. One might be a little bit shorter because it's, less. It was a chunk of the book that, we could tell in like 45 minutes. So this episode's obviously going to be 45 minutes, so it's going to move the plot forward. Anyway, the point is, when you restrain yourself to either a series format or a movie format, you really do yourself a disservice, and you really take your ability to tell a narrative away by trying to constrain it as such. And so I know that the industry has shied away from the term in the concept, in that basically these streaming series more or less are mini-series done in a more traditional format. But I want to see epics brought back. You know what I mean? I want to see still got my shit. Okay. I want to see storytelling come back, and I don't really see a lot of good storytelling these days in any format. I guess it's there if you look for it. I know manga and anime have a lot of good stories. There's been a lot of little random under the radar movies here and there, and I'm sure there's plenty of books. If I would get back into books. And then a YouTuber I watch, Eric D. July, he's getting ready to release his Ripaverse comics as both a a project of passion and as a response to the decline of the American comic book industry. So there are good stories to be told, and I think we need the miniseries back to tell some of those in film. I think we need a little bit more planning on some of these things. I mean, yeah, I'm sure they mapped out the MCU to a certain extent, but you can tell towards the end of it, they were basically just putting some things here and there where they just needed to, and they needed to hurry up and wrap the story up. I haven't watched a lot of the later ones for pretty much just because, whatever, I got burnt out on it by the time we got to Endgame. And then they, of course, did magical bullshit MacGuffin fucking multiverse bullshit to rewrite everything, because it's like, oh well, we killed these guys, and and you can't win it. You can't win with everybody. So whatever. But yeah, bring back the miniseries. I'm tempted. There's only one part in the book I want to adapt that I'm not sure how I would film it, because the author wrote the passage specifically so you wouldn't know who the other person in the scene was, just that the event took place and changed things from there on out. And even one of the characters says, I don't know who started this mess, but now it's fucking it's chaos and shit. But yeah. So other than that, it's a book that I don't think would do justice as a 2.5 hour movie, and I don't see it being done justice as half-hour segments, but it's a very important story that needs to be told. I think all of that author's works really need to get back out on the mainstream, because he was that perfect balance of left and right, common sense, but loving your fellow man, and forward thinking for the human race. And a lot of his works get kind of misinterpreted, and it pisses me off, because the people misinterpreting them are fucking idiots that do not know what they're talking about. It's frustrating. But anyway, this has been 7 minutes. I don't really have much more to say on the topic, so I'm not going to. I'm not doing this for ad revenue, so I'm not trying to hit any magic sweet spot. I just want to keep these under 10 minutes. And I don't want these to be nothing but me yelling. I want my insane ideas out there for the world, because some of them aren't bad, like the chairs, it was actually really, really poignant. But, yeah. So if you're still watching this series, thanks for watching. I don't know how long I'll get to do these things. Things are bad right now, but who cares? Who cares? Time moves forward.